Ruben was the most energized leader in the building. When something went wrong, he was the first one moving. Loud, fast, fully activated. His teams described him with a kind of nervous admiration. When the building's on fire, one of them told me, you want Ruben. Then she paused and added, the problem is, Ruben thinks the building's always on fire. That was the pattern. A vendor missed a deadline. Ruben fired off a thread to 12 people with the subject line in all caps. A metric dipped for a week. Emergency meetings, calendar cleared. Everyone pulled off their real work to respond. A typo in a board deck. And the way he reacted, you'd think someone had leaked the financials. Here's what it cost him. His team lived at a constant level of alarm. They couldn't tell a real fire from a small one because Ruben treated all of them like infernos. So they did the only rational thing. They started bracing for everything, which meant they were exhausted by everything, which meant when an actual crisis hit, they had nothing left. There was a second cost, a little subtler. People stopped bringing Ruben problems early, when they were still small and fixable, because they knew the response would be a blow-up. They'd sit on a yellow light until it turned red, because at least a red light justified the explosion they knew was coming. His own reactions were training his team to hide exactly the information he needed soonest. I said to him, you keep responding to everything like it's a 5-alarm fire. He nodded. He thought I was complimenting his intensity. I care. I'd rather over-respond than miss something. I said, I believe you care, but you're not putting out fires. You're the accelerant. That's the pattern. And it's the one nobody flags because from the inside, it feels like the opposite of a problem. It feels like commitment. It feels like the one person who actually takes things seriously. He didn't start the fires. He just couldn't stop pouring gas on them. And his own escalation became the biggest fire in the room. Underneath it was something most flamethrowers share. A nervous system that read every problem as a threat, and a story that intensity equaled caring. If he wasn't activated, was he even taking it seriously? The escalation wasn't a leadership strategy. It was anxiety dressed up as urgency, and handed to the whole team to hold. Urgency feels like leadership, but from the outside, it's just heat. Ruben tried something that ran against every instinct that he had. We built him a rule. Before responding to anything that felt urgent, name the actual altitude of the problem out loud. Is this a 5-alarm fire, a kitchen fire, or burnt toast? Most things, it turned out, were burnt toast. And burnt toast doesn't require an all-caps email to 12 people. The first time a metric dipped after that, he waited a day, gathered the context, found out it was a reporting lag, not a real drop. The fire he would have started would have been bigger than the problem and entirely his own. His team noticed within weeks. The alarm level in the room dropped. People started bringing him problems early again while they were still small because the response was no longer an explosion. The leader who'd been an accelerant slowly became something his team hadn't had in years, a thermostat instead of a spark. One thing to try. The next time something lands on you and your whole system says, respond now, pause and name the altitude. 5-alarm fire, kitchen fire, or burnt toast. Then respond to the actual size of the problem, not the size of your reaction to it. When you escalate, are you putting the fire out, or are you the thing that's burning? I'm Danesh, and this is The Leaders in Our Neighborhood. I'll see you next Friday.